As a customer of Thames Water in northwest London, we consider them to be a joke. All they do is increase our charges annually, dig up the roads locally and cause traffic chaos to try and repair leaks. They have a reputation for dividing their profits amongst their large shareholders.
I think it's worth making the House realise that actually it was the opposition party that voted against the Environment Act, which actually gave Ofwat more powers. Can my right honourable friend assure me that the water regulator Ofwat will be able to clamp down on excessive cash payouts and ensure that water companies put their customers first?
I thank him for pointing that out. It's absolutely right. It doesn't matter what the opposition say today. They didn't vote for all the measures in the Environment Act. And one of those measures was, and I thank him for raising this, that Ofwat will be able to hold water companies to account where they don't demonstrate a link between dividends and performance. They've got to have a sound performance and be performing for their customers. Otherwise, they can't pay out their dividends.
Thames Water, which is on the verge of going under, provides a quarter of the entire population with its water supply. When was she told about the financial plight of Thames, and what's the plan if the worst comes to the worst and it does go under?
Minister.
Yes, I thank him for that. And you're right, Thames Water does supply an enormous amount of our population. And obviously, Ofwat has been working closely with Thames Water, as it does all water companies. And government then works with Ofwat. We give Ofwat our strategic policy statement on what are their priorities. Overall, the water companies are considered resilient, but there is a lot of work going on behind the scenes with Thames Water to ensure that customers will not be impacted, and there is a process in place, if necessary, to move us to the next stage.
When they were privatised, the water companies had all the debt written off, so they started with zero. Since then, they've borrowed £53 billion, and much of this has been used to help pay £72 billion in dividends. The investment has been made by borrowing and put onto customers' bills. And now S&P, the rating agency, has negative outlooks for 2/3 of the UK water companies it rates because they're over-leveraged and they've taken out too much debt in an era of low interest rates, which they're now having to pay. This is not a triumph. It's actually a huge problem for the resilience of our water industry. And what is the Minister going to do when water companies start falling over?
Just for information, Thames Water itself hasn't paid any dividends for the last 6 years. And Ofwat, quite rightly, will hold companies to account where they don't clearly demonstrate the link between dividends and performance. And we made that possible, obviously, through the landmark Environment Act.
So let's fast forward to February the 13th, 2025 and see what they have to say about Thames Water in the House of Commons.
On Thames Water, who provide water disservices to 20 million people in this country. We now know that they received from bill payers money which was supposed to go to environmental measures such as stopping illegal discharges, and that money has been used to pay bonuses and to pay dividends. We need to discuss, do we not, whether the people running Thames Water are fit and proper persons to run a public company.
Well, he's absolutely right that the way our water industry has been run over recent years is absolutely shocking, with profits and shareholder dividends being paid out over and above or infrastructure spending, or indeed even when discharges and other things are happening to our waterways. Absolutely shocking. And that's why this government's brought in the water bill, which I think is about to receive royal assent, which will stop these erroneous bonuses being paid. We've established a new water commission, and there are further reforms coming, but I will ensure the House is kept fully up to date.
Mr. Speaker, could I strongly support the request made by the member for Brent North for a statement about Thames Water from the government? This company gives itself huge profits, which pays to shareholders and pays its executives massive amounts of money, presides over leaks all over its region, pollutes our seas and our rivers, and to me it is an example of the disaster of privatisation of the water industry. And what we need from the government is a clear statement that instead of regulation we will return Thames Water to public ownership so that the people of London and the whole of the region can enjoy clean water and our seas will no longer be polluted by them. Minister.
Well, he's right, there's been severe problems and that these problems have let everybody down, and they're completely unacceptable, and they do come from severe failures of governance and regulation as well that underpin the water sector. That's why we've just passed a water special measures bill. I think we'll receive royal assent shortly, which will prevent these erroneous bonuses being paid for poor performance, and we will be bringing forward soon as well some further measures for wider water reform which are currently under review, and I will ensure the House is updated of those matters and that the honourable gentleman's opinions are included in that.